Amour-Porter. Oh my goodness, if my husband heard me not say that last name, there would be a serious issue.
Sure.
Welcome to Diaries of an Entrepremommy. This is where you can kind of look at our videos and see amazing women like the woman I have here with me today, see their stories and see how it affects you, or see how it may motivate you to do something that you haven't done before. So today I'm here with Lynn Facelli, and she's an amazing woman. I met her through an organization or a group of girl bosses, and I tell you, I think everybody in that group is like simply amazing.
Yes,
But
totally agree.
yes. So Lynn is amazing for so many different reasons, but as you can see, she always looks gorgeous. Always. She's always very well put together. Thank you. But her and her husband has had a business for a long time, so we're going to hit on that. Oh, our E is like falling away from us.
E.
But look, it's so cute. It's Remax, right, in the wood. So let me keep my elbow away from there. But her and her husband had a business for a long time, and she decided to venture off and do something on her own. And when she did that, oh my goodness, like she has been shaking the real estate world. So we definitely want to talk to her about that. So welcome, Lynn. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Appreciate you spending time today. I guess
we're going to keep the E and the R down. So it's Remax.
Yes. Max out. No.
Yes, max it out.
So my story with real estate actually started, my career with real estate started in April, but I feel like my journey through life has gotten me to this point.
Wow.
And has encouraged or just given me the confidence in my heart to know, like, I'm gonna kill this. Like, this is what I have been meant to do. And it was just a process that got me to this to make me great in this.
Wow, that's awesome. And she did say April of this year. So that's
yes.
May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months. And in 6 months, how much have you sold?
Almost $500,000 in homes.
So the people who know real estate know that's huge, especially starting off, like huge. And people who don't know real estate, that is really huge, because there is, you have to start networking, get your name out there. And then there's a process where it can take anywhere from 2, 3, even longer months for the whole process. You have to find the house, you have to put an offer in on the house. The offer has to be accepted. If it doesn't, you have to go back to the drawing board. So to be able to do that in that short period of time and with all those time constraints is simply amazing. So see why I decided.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the journey to make you know that you were awesome, and that you were going to crush this industry.
Okay. So I don't really know, like, if I should go all the way back, but I kind of want to, because the reason that I'm doing this and what I want to do with this career is to help women get their own home, whether they are a first-time buyer or newly single, for whatever that might be, a widow, whatever. I want to help women get their dream home.
Awesome.
And so my passion has really always been helping women. I'm a survivor of domestic violence.
Yes.
And fortunately I was able to overcome that. And it's been a process of healing. But I met and married a wonderful man in 92, and in 94 we started a window cleaning business.
Okay.
He did that mostly full time. I did the books, like scheduling, and but it was very part time. And during that process, our goal was to make that business full time, and for both of us to leave our real job, right?
I got you.
And so we built the business up where we felt we could do that, and he did actually got laid off, and so it just kind of all worked out, because he got laid off, and that made us gave him time to really go. And so fast forward, in 96 he quit, or was no longer employed where he was.
Oh, wow.
And so he did that full time, and I happened to get recruited into Mary Kay.
Wow.
And I excelled quickly in that. Within 11 months, went on target for my very first car.
Nice.
And 4 months later, I became top 2% in the company. I became a director, and I held that position for 10 years.
Wow.
And in that process, I earned 3 other cars, a
Okay.
whole bunch of jewelry,
Mm-hmm.
great money. But what I really enjoyed about it was making women feel beautiful, to make them know they're loved, they're appreciated for who they are, and to just let them be pampered for 2 hours in the evening. That was what I got, the joy that I got from doing my parties. But the other thing was helping women discover their own power within them,
Okay.
and to be successful at that career also. So it was helping others that in turn made me a director, made me top 2% in the company.
Well, if you want to take just a second, I just want to touch on what you just said. So many people think, and it works for some people, that they think about themselves and they're out there and they're, grinding and they're still successful. But just to let you know, if you're not that person, I'm not that person. I'm always thinking about how can I help others, and what can I do for others. And you can be successful, just like Lynn just said, you can be successful with a heart of helping others because it automatically comes back to you. You don't feel bad if you're, if people are like, oh, you gotta stop thinking about others. Well, you do have to think of yourself at a point. So
Right.
It has to be a healthy balance. But when I go out there, even when I decided to do this, I was struggling in the beginning of me starting a business. And I was like, if I'm struggling, some other people are struggling. So I decided to help. So you can be successful and have a heart to help people, right?
Absolutely. And I think the more you give, the more you get. And that's not
Very
why
true.
you do it. You do it because you have a pure heart and you want to do things for other people.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think if you focus on giving, you get.
That's
It's
so
just,
true.
It's just the way it goes. So in 2011, I stepped down from being a director. My husband's business we were growing, and we had been running in our home for all those years.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to a point where we had people coming in our home. The technicians would come at like 6 o'clock in the morning and use my bathroom, and I'm
You
like
had a bigger
not
family.
dressed. Yes, yes. And so I'm like, honey, we're growing. We need to consider getting an office and
Okay.
a storefront. So we did that. And that meant we really had to focus on growing because now we have all this overhead.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't focus on growing that business. You have to be all in whatever it is that you're doing
That's very true.
in order to be successful. So I left Mary Kay to help my husband grow, and we grew exponentially within a very short time. But again, I have to give Mary Kay, my career in Mary Kay, and all of the training that I plugged myself into on people skills and mastering your thoughts about your greatness. And, the number one thing that stops people from doing whatever's planted in their heart that they are meant to do, the number one thing that stops them is fear of the unknown.
This is true.
So
It's themselves.
it's themselves.
They're what's going on up in here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So being plugging myself into that training, I was just like, I know I can do this, but I have to do this full time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then my son, John, sorry, my son and my daughter-in-law, Julie, are realtors in South Carolina.
Okay.
And it's been something that I know this is going to sound silly, but I've always loved watching HGTV, which is kind of a joke in the real estate world.
Excuse me? That is not silly. That gets me through many of nights.
I love it. I love all of it. Chuck and Joanna Gaines.
Yes.
And so, and I've always been just interested in the real estate world. And
Okay.
again, it's helping people at a much higher level.
Mm-hmm.
And both my daughter-in-law and my son were like, Mom, you should do this because you'd be so good at it.
Aww.
And, this old brain don't work the way it used to. And going to real estate school, I will tell you, really frightened me. Like, I really didn't know if I could pass the test.
So, did you pass in your first time?
I did. And I actually did a 3-hour test in 2 hours, and I scored high.
See, it's all up here. We psych ourselves out and say,
Yeah.
and we make it a bigger deal in our head, and it's just go do it. So I'm right there with you. I have to like overcome that anytime I'm coming into a new realm. But look, she said this old brain, and she aced the test. Hello.
Well, I did have a lot of support, which I think was very important.
Okay.
I know a lot of girl bosses were very encouraging, you being one of them. My best friends, my children, my husband, who was totally amazing, because studying for me was like, it was a full-time job. I got up in the morning and had my coffee and started studying.
Okay.
I studied. That man cooked, grocery shopped, did the laundry, cleaned the house, and worked, all so that I could focus on studying. So I couldn't have done it without his support.
That's
Having
awesome.
a good man behind you,
It's amazing.
it's amazing.
It is.
So, so I aced that, and actually, so my final was my final was scheduled for a day in February, and ended up with the flu. So I couldn't go.
Okay.
But that gave me extra time to really study, and I bought an app it was an app to take the test, and I took it, and I took it, and I took it, and I got to a point where I was scoring in the 90s.
Okay.
So I knew, and that gave me huge confidence, not only that I would pass the state test, but that I knew in my heart that I knew what I was doing.
Right.
And I would be able to do well for my customers, and so, that was a booster. And then, ironically, I took my final, happened to be on St. Patrick's Day, which is one of my favorite holidays because I'm Irish. And I spent my day it was an 8-hour day. Like, they had some review the night before, and then the test was 3 hours, which I also did that one in 2 hours.
Oh, very good.
And I felt good when I walked out, and I'm like, and I think I was like one of the first ones done, and I said to the instructor, I'm like, this is kind of scary, like, and she goes, well, what do you feel about it? And I'm like, it feels pretty good. Like, I think I think I got good answers. And so she said, well, we will see. And then, they set us all in a big room, and there was like 75 of us, and not even half of them passed. So
don't let her fool you. So take it from a person who, I've taken the test in 2 different states and passed it. And so it's very hard, but it's doable. And so if she's doing it in 2/3 of the time, right? She's amazing. So that may be one of the many reasons why you say, you know what, I need to get Lynn, because she knows what she's doing. And I love the way you talked about your preparation. Because you're not getting somebody who is just a good test taker and says, okay, but it was so important for you to know everything you need to know, not only for the test, but you said for your client, so you knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
And so that's what you want to look at when you're looking for a real estate agent. And I know quite a few, and the ones I know are pretty good. So you want to make sure that you definitely go with someone who has a heart for people. So something's coming up soon.
Yes,
I'm excited.
Yes. So my year has kind of been a whirlwind because, there was the test in the beginning, and then finding a brokerage, and we moved, and we've had some changes going on in our business. So I wanted to have like a ribbon cutting celebration at the very beginning. And that didn't happen because of all the things that were going on in my life. But I'm like, now it's time.
Perfect time.
It is time. So instead of it being a grand opening, it's a ribbon cutting. And it's going to be a celebration of the success that I've had so far.
Okay.
And just celebrating what my future brings.
Yes.
And my heart is still about helping people. And I think... real estate agents get a bad rap. We kind of are put up there with like used car salesmen, and people think of us as, not all of us, but that we're not honest and that we're out for a buck. And this office is full of agents that aren't about that, and I am one of those people, and I want to sell you a house, I want to help you find a house, but I will work to make sure you get the right house. Like, I don't want to just sell you a house, I want to sell you the house.
Right.
And I have had a client who had a home that after inspection had a whole bunch of stuff wrong with it. And he he's like, well, what should I do? And I said, I can't tell you what you should do, but I can tell you what I would do, and ultimately it's up to you. And I said, if it were me, I know in my heart that we can find another house that's going to cost you the same or less and not have all these things wrong. So let's just keep looking.
Right.
And he said, that's what I wanted to do, but I wanted to make sure that was okay with you. He's a great man to work with.
Yeah.
But that's my heart, is I want to find you the best home, so it's a good investment and it makes your life better, not miserable.
Yes. Okay. So, Lynn, you are a real estate agent for what particular areas?
I've grown up in Macomb County.
Okay.
I've lived in Warren, 14 and Mound. I lived there for 21 years.
Okay.
Currently, I live in Shelby Township. Our other business is in Shelby Township.
Okay.
This office is in Sterling Heights. So I would say, and I actually do a lot of marketing in the St. Clair County area.
Okay.
So I know that area pretty well too. The window cleaning business has really helped me know a lot of the communities,
Okay.
even Oakland. But I feel like this and the southern parts of St. Clair County are really what I know.
Gotcha.
And so that's
what you
really,
want to focus on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's a big area.
It is.
It's a very, I know I'm constantly getting postcards because people are like, oh, someone just sold your home. People are looking in your area. So this is a good area, good schools, and, the taxes are very reasonable, and you're still being able to get a wonderful and a beautiful house and community. So anything in Macomb County, south of St. Clair County, give her a call. All right.
Yes.
So we want to congratulate her on an amazing job. Thank you so much for taking out the time with me today.
Thank you
Oh, you're welcome.
for interviewing me. I appreciate it.
Definitely. All right. Until we see you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.